Well, it's questionable between which one, between OJ and Dad.
But
so even
either
more
one of
so,
them
you
would
should
be
get it because it was between both of them.
Both of my dads, give it to me.
Kim Kardashian just dropped over $80,000 on a Bible. Not just any Bible, though. This one belonged to O.J. Simpson, gifted to him by their father, Robert Kardashian, just 6 days after Nicole Brown Simpson's murder. When Kim revealed she was the anonymous buyer, Khloé's response caught everyone off guard. She joked about how it should belong to her since it came from either Robert or O.J., then added with a laugh, "Both of my dads, give it to me." The family laughed it off like they always do. Except nobody was really laughing, because for over 2 decades, one question has followed Khloé Kardashian everywhere she goes. Who is her real father? And why does she refuse to take a simple test that could end all the speculation? The answer might be more complicated than anyone realizes. The Bible moment happened in November 2024 on the Kardashians. Kim had originally offered $15 grand to OJ's estate to quietly buy it back. They rejected her, so she went to auction and paid more than 5 times that amount. When she finally gifted it to Khloé for her birthday, the emotion was real. Khloé doesn't have many items from Robert, who passed away in 2003. Seeing his handwriting, reading the passages he highlighted for OJ, it meant everything to her. Then Kim made the joke about it being questionable which dad actually owned it first. Khloé didn't miss a beat with her "both my dads" line. The thing is, this wasn't the first time they joked about it publicly. The family has this way of laughing off the rumors. Like if they treat it as a punchline, nobody will take it seriously. But that wasn't even the strangest part of how this whole mystery started. Back in 2011, Kris Jenner released a memoir where she admitted to having an affair during her marriage to Robert Kardashian. She didn't name the man, just said it happened, and that's why they divorced. The internet immediately started filling in the blanks. Then Robert's ex-wives started talking. Jan Ashley, who married Robert in 1998, told Star magazine that he looked at her one day and casually mentioned that Khloé wasn't really a Kardashian, just said it matter of fact, like he was commenting on the weather. His third wife Ellen backed this up years later, saying Robert questioned Khloé's paternity, but loved her too much to ever demand a DNA test. Here's where it gets messy, though. These women spoke out after Robert died, so he couldn't confirm or deny anything. Robert's pastor and 2 best friends also came forward with similar stories, all of them saying the same thing. Robert knew, but he chose to be her father anyway. That kind of unconditional love is rare, except the timeline for who Kris actually cheated with doesn't match up at all. Kris named the affair partner as someone she called Ryan in her book, but his real name is Todd Waterman. They had what Kris described as a passionate, intense affair that made her feel alive again. Problem is, that affair started in 1989. Khloé was born in 1984. The math doesn't work. So if Todd wasn't Khloé's father, then who was Kris seeing 5 years earlier? The internet turned into a detective agency overnight. People started comparing every man Kris knew in the early 80s. O.J. Simpson's name came up constantly because of how close the families were. Robert was O.J.'s attorney during the murder trial. Kris and Nicole were best friends. They vacationed together, spent holidays together. Their lives were completely intertwined. But both O.J. and Kris have denied anything romantic ever happened between them. O.J. even made a whole video about it before he died.
I always thought Kris was a cute girl. She was really nice. But, I was dating supermodels.
You know the rumor.
Yeah, but the rumor ain't true. It's not even nowhere close to being true.
Saying Kris was nice, but he was dating supermodels back then. That defense didn't really help his case. Then people started looking closer at the family photos, and that's when they noticed someone who kept appearing in the background. Alex Roldan, Kris Jenner's hairdresser for over 30 years. When you put pictures of Alex and Khloé side by side, the resemblance is genuinely shocking. Same eyes, same nose structure, same mouth shape, same tall build. Before Khloé had any cosmetic work done, the similarities were even more striking. Alex owns a salon in West Hollywood and has stayed close with the family this entire time. He's appeared on Keeping Up with the Kardashians multiple times. His Instagram profile picture is him with Kris. He carries Kylie's skincare line in his salon. And here's the detail that made everyone pause. Khloé's full name is Khloé Alexandra Kardashian. Her middle name is Alexandra. Coincidence? Maybe. But then Kylie posted something that made the whole internet lose it. Back in the day, Kylie shared a photo on Twitter of Khloé standing next to Alex Roldan. She captioned it, First official photo of my sister and her dad. Like father, like daughter. The post went viral instantly. Everyone pointing out how much they looked alike in that picture, how it seemed like Kylie was confirming what everyone suspected. Kylie backtracked fast, tweeting that it was just a joke. Kris laughed it off too. But the image was already out there and people couldn't unsee the resemblance. Tabloids ran with it, claiming Kris paid Alex serious money with an NDA attached, supposedly $30 million worth of silence. Nobody's confirmed that story, but the fact that Alex has never spoken publicly about it despite all the attention is interesting. He could have denied it, could have done interviews, could have set the record straight. Instead, he stayed quiet and stayed connected to the family. That loyalty suggests something, though nobody knows exactly what. What really didn't help the situation was how defensive Khloé got whenever anyone brought up paternity testing. On the show, Kris actually traveled to Texas where Khloé was living with Lamar to try to convince her to take a DNA test. The whole family agreed to do it together, thinking it would settle everything once and for all. Khloé refused. Got visibly upset, said she didn't need a test to tell her who her family was. She kept repeating that Robert Kardashian was her dad, that Caitlyn Jenner was her other dad, and she didn't need science to prove it. The emotion was raw and real. You could see how much the constant speculation hurt her. Later, the family did convince her to do a 23andMe test, and the results showed she was 41.5% Middle Eastern, which lines up with Armenian heritage from Robert. That seemed to prove Robert was her biological father. Except DNA tests like that show broad ancestry, not specific paternity. Middle Eastern ancestry could come from Robert, or it could come from someone else with similar heritage. The test didn't definitively prove anything, but Khloé held onto those results like they were gospel. What she said during that whole ordeal was telling, though. Khloé got emotional talking about how Robert treated her exactly the same as her siblings, how he never made her feel different even if he had doubts. She mentioned having the blessing of two phenomenal fathers, meaning Robert and Caitlyn. But the way she said it, the way she got defensive so quickly, suggested she might already know the truth and just doesn't want it confirmed publicly. There's this internal battle happening where she's caught between honoring the man who raised her and facing a reality she's not ready to accept. Her sisters keep making jokes about it, which means the family probably has had conversations behind closed doors that we'll never hear about. When O.J. Simpson died in April 2024, Khloé's social media got flooded with condolence messages, people telling her they were sorry for the loss of her father.
We all know the rumor, and the internet wants to send their condolences to Miss Khloé Kardashian. As I'm sure many of you know, O.J. passed away due to his battle with cancer, and Khloé's fans seem to want to send their condolences under all her social media platforms. And now Khloé is trending worldwide right under O.J. Simpson.
That had to sting. O.J. had denied being her dad multiple times before he passed. Even recorded videos addressing it, saying he never had romantic interest in Kris and calling the rumors tasteless. But people still sent those messages anyway. The O.J. theory never really made sense when you think about it. His own daughter Sydney doesn't look that much like Khloé. O.J. himself said he was busy dating supermodels when Kris and Robert were together, which was his way of saying Kris wasn't his type. That came across as insulting to Kris, even if he didn't mean it that way. His former manager Norman Pardo made wild claims about O.J. and Kris hooking up in a hot tub, saying Kris ended up in the hospital because of the encounter. Kris called that story complete fiction, said she'd never heard of Norman Pardo, and denied it ever happened. O.J.'s team seemed to be throwing out bizarre stories for attention after his legal troubles. The Kardashian and Simpson families were so close back then that any hint of an affair would have destroyed both marriages immediately. Robert represented O.J. during the murder trial, while Kris supported Nicole. That created a massive rift between them. If there had been an affair, Robert probably wouldn't have stood by O.J. at all. The timeline and relationships just don't support the O.J. theory, even though it's the one that gets the most attention. There's someone else, though, who fits every piece of the puzzle. Alex Roldan checks every box. The physical resemblance is undeniable. The 30-plus year relationship with Kris. His continued presence in the family despite all the rumors. Khloé's middle name. The fact that he's never publicly denied anything. Even the way the family jokes about it suggests they all know something they're not saying out loud. If you were going to place a bet on who Khloé's biological father actually is, Alex would be the overwhelming favorite based purely on evidence. But here's what makes this whole situation more complicated than just a paternity question. Robert Kardashian knew the truth, or at least suspected it, and he chose to love Khloé as his daughter anyway. He never demanded a test, never treated her differently, never made her feel like she didn't belong. That kind of love transcends biology. Khloé holds on to that, and maybe that's why she refuses testing. Because confirming Robert wasn't her biological father would feel like betraying his memory, even though it wouldn't change the relationship they had. The real answer might be that Khloé already knows. She's seen the pictures. She's heard the stories from Robert's ex-wives. She's lived her whole life looking different from her siblings. At some point, she probably had a private conversation with Kris that we'll never hear about. And she made a choice to honor Robert as her father, regardless of what DNA might say. That's actually the most Kardashian thing about this whole story. They're masters at controlling their narrative, at deciding what's public and what stays private. The jokes about both my dads let them acknowledge the rumors without confirming anything. It's strategic and emotional at the same time. The Bible from OJ that once belonged to Robert now sits in Khloé's house, a physical reminder that family secrets can live in plain sight. Sometimes the father who raised you matters more than the one who contributed DNA, and sometimes refusing to know the truth is its own kind of answer. Robert Kardashian loved Khloé unconditionally, and she's choosing to honor that by keeping his name as the only father she acknowledges. Whether Alex Roldan knows he has a daughter out there, whether Kris paid for his silence, whether the family has all agreed to never speak the truth publicly, we might never get those answers. What we do know is that Khloé's made peace with being different from her siblings, even if the world hasn't stopped asking questions. The $80,000 Bible sits on her shelf now, inscribed by the man who chose to be her father. And that might be the only truth that actually matters.